Hello and welcome. So today, guys, it is all about the detailed review of the latest launch from YSL, which is yet another flanker for the Libre line. And this one is called L'eau Nue. Now that is supposed to mean bare water in French. And as you can see from the bottle, it's like a pretty clean aesthetic. But guys, I have so much to say about this fragrance because this is not your regular Libre flanker. This is completely different than anything we've seen from this line and maybe even from the entire YSL portfolio of fragrances. But today I'm ready to give you all of the details. I'll first start by giving you a detailed review of this fragrance, and then I'm going to compare it to yet another 5 flankers that I have in my collection. But before we jump right in, if this is your first time here, I'm Arahi, and I'm your fragrance concierge because I'm totally committed to creating the best fragrance experience for you. I upload videos multiple times a week, and on this channel, we love to talk about all types of fragrances. So if that sounds like the type of content that you're interested in, and like a good plan, then please consider subscribing, give this video a thumbs up, and don't forget, leave a comment. Let's go. All right, so L'eau Nue, and I hope that I'm pronouncing it correctly. I think it's L'eau Nue, but anyway. So this flanker, guys, was just launched, as I said in the opening, I think about a week ago. And I picked it up immediately, and I'm going to tell you that when I first sprayed this fragrance, I knew there was something completely different about it compared to all the other flankers and any of the fragrances of YSL. And I'm going to start by saying, guys, that I think that this is a fragrance that has been very misunderstood upon launch. Like, it launched and immediately it started to get some negative reviews, and I just think that it's really misunderstood. So when I saw that, I did quite a bit of research, and I'm going to share with you what I am finding and what I really obviously think about it. But I'm also going to tell you that this is the type of fragrance that you do not want to just try on paper or try in a rush. No, this is not that kind of fragrance at all. And the more I tell you about it, the more you'll understand. So this fragrance comes in a couple of sizes, right? So this is the 90 ml bottle, and I paid for it $145, of course, plus tax. And then there's the 50 ml, and I can't remember the price of that one. But this is a price that I think is a bit lower than what I paid for Flowers and Flames, the flanker that they launched as part of this line last year. But before we jump into this fragrance, I'm going to tell you that I'm going to be giving you a comparison today to 4 other flankers that I have in my collection. And those are the Flowers and Flames, the Le Parfum, the Intense, and the OG. Now, there's been a couple of other flankers. I'm only missing like 2. I think I'm missing the Absolute and the Eau de Toilette. Those are the only 2 that I'm missing from my collection. So I should be able to give you a pretty good idea of how does this one differ from all the others. And trust me, there are considerable differences. So let's take a look at what has been launched as far as flankers through the years. So this fragrance is supposed to have a new technology that YSL has implemented. I don't know if they're planning to do that with all their fragrances, but they certainly did it with this one. And it is supposed to be an oil in water. That's what they call it, like an oil in water type of formulation. This bottle is supposed to reflect, like the white of the bottle is supposed to reflect the purity of the water-based formula, right? But in addition to that, guys, when you first spray this fragrance, you're going to feel like you're spraying water. I mean, I have no other way to put it, but because that's really what it feels like. When you spray this on your skin, you're going to feel like if you have like a sprayer bottle and you're just like spraying water through the nozzle. That's what I get with this fragrance when I spray it on skin. In addition to that, this formula, according to YSL, is supposed to leave your skin looking more radiant and glowy and beautiful. And we're going to talk more about that as we get into the details of the fragrance. But I can tell you that this is a very different experience than anything else that I've ever had with not just the Libre line, but any of these fragrances. Because truly, when you spray it, it is like spraying water on your skin, and the scent of the fragrance also is quite weak and faint. Okay, so I want to talk a little bit about my experience before I get into the olfactory journey and I give you all the information that I typically give you in a review. Guys, this is so different that I want to make sure that you understand what you're getting into if you decide to pick this one up. For starters, as I said earlier on, this is a fragrance, guys, that you have to try on skin. And at that, you need to give yourself some time to try this fragrance, because this is what you're going to find. You're going to spray the fragrance. It's going to feel like you're spraying literally water on your skin. It doesn't spray like other fragrances, because other fragrances have an oil concentration, right? This one is an oil in water kind of concentration, as I said earlier, and it feels like water when it hits your skin, and it's runny as water. So it's not as thick or as dense as when you spray any other fragrance on your skin. At that, on your skin, it's going to look like water. And then add to that you're not going to pick up on much of a scent. So if you spray this fragrance on your skin and then you sniff your skin, you're not going to pick up on much of the scent. It is very weak, yes, and it is very faint. But hold on tight, because as the fragrance moves forward into the dry down and it approaches the dry down, you are going to notice that that liquid that looks like water starts to, of course, dry down or seep into your skin or be absorbed by your skin. And as it does that, your skin gets like this glowy look. And in addition to that glowy look, your skin does look very like smooth, and there's like a sheen finish to your skin where you applied this fragrance. Now, as I said before, you're also like, if you were to sniff your skin after spraying it, you're going to say, well, I can barely smell this fragrance. But guys, let me tell you, 15 minutes after you've sprayed this fragrance, you are going to start to pick up on serious whiffs of this fragrance. That's when the projection starts in this fragrance. It doesn't start like it starts in all other fragrances where you spray and there's an immediate, intensity, which we call projection, and that lasts a certain amount of time. Oh no, this one does not start like that. This one goes on and it intensifies as the time goes by. And at the around the 15-minute mark is when I started to notice that, oh wow, I'm picking up on the scent of this fragrance, and it is intensifying. Guys, by a half hour after you've applied this fragrance on your skin, it becomes almost a powerhouse. It is quite intense, because I was sitting at my desk and I sprayed my arm, and I'm going to show you, if I haven't already, a little clip with it. But I was sitting at my desk and I had sprayed this fragrance on skin while working on something else. And guys, like 15 minutes into it, I was totally disappointed. And I thought, all the negative reviews that I've read are totally true. I'm not picking up on anything. This is like a watered down version. It has the DNA. I can tell that it has the regular Libre DNA, but it's just very weak. But guys, at the half-hour mark, it was totally different. It was like, I wish that I wouldn't have sprayed as much as I did, because I sprayed quite a bit on my arm, because it just felt like it was spraying water. And I wondered if the sprayer was having an issue or something, but no, that's just the way that this formulation works. So this fragrance opens up quite airy and fresh citrusy. And at that 15-minute, around the 15-minute mark, like midway in this half-hour olfactory journey, you're going to start to pick up on the florals. But the florals do not take like a dominant role in this journey. Oh no, the florals remain in the background, and you do continue, and the fragrance continues to intensify until you land into what you will recognize as the Libre DNA. So you're going to pick up on the florals clearly, and you're going to pick up on all the notes involved. But it's not until the very dry down again that the fragrance intensifies, leaving you with a beautiful, beautiful scent that is very much reminiscent of like the Libre Intense, not necessarily the OG or Le Parfum at all. And we're going to talk more about that when I compare them for you, but it is more of like the intense DNA. Now at the dry down, guys, like after that first half hour, I'm going to tell you that the projection is quite impressive. It is like, it will definitely make you choke if you apply too much of this fragrance, because I applied it on my arm and I had to like start like moving my arm away from my nose because it was really that intense. At all this is a fragrance, guys, that performs beautifully after that, because it does give me a full day wear, and it does have that very strong projection that lasts quite a while and becomes more of like a scent bubble. Then I would say maybe about an hour and a half later, you are going to pick up that the fragrance has become more of a skin scent, but you're still going to get whiffs of this fragrance. At all that, even though it does have that like intense DNA, it is a fragrance that I really think has been really designed to be used during the spring and summer seasons primarily. I don't think that this is a fragrance. I know that I will not pull this during the fall or winter seasons, but this is definitely perfection for spring and summer, because there is an airiness and a freshness to it that will remain throughout the journey and throughout the wear of the fragrance. At all that, you are also going to get a very good sillage that will get you compliments, because I did wear it one time for the full day and I did get 2 compliments. It is a beautifully smooth fragrance, where in other Libre flankers, you are going to find that the lavender can be not screechy, but it can be a bit much. In this one, everything is just so perfectly smooth. This fragrance does have musk, but I would say that it's like a level 1, guys, because when I tell you this fragrance is not weak at the dry down, guys, it's not that it's weak and it's not that it's faint. It's just designed to be very smooth. Or maybe it's that this new formulation with the water and all that makes it, you know, very smooth, because I have no other way to explain it. If you try this fragrance on skin and you give it the time that I told you, you are going to agree with me that this is just a very smooth fragrance. So when it comes to the musk that I'm picking up here is like a level 1, which means that I barely pick it up. There is no oud in this fragrance, and I think that it is suited for all ages. And as I said before, this is number 1, definitely a feminine fragrance. Completely. This is not unisex whatsoever. This is really a feminine fragrance. And I think that it is perfection for spring and summer. And I will tell you that I'm not sure that this is the right fragrance to transition you into spring, because there will be days that will be rather cold, but this is perfection for spring and summer. Just a beautiful fragrance. So let's start by comparing it to the OG Libre, right, which I have right here with me. I can tell you that this fragrance is definitely less vanillic. The center star of this fragrance to me is not the vanilla. As a matter of fact, in all of the other flankers that I own or that I've tried of Libre, I can tell you that there is one note that stands out more than the others, without being obnoxious or screechy, because I think that the blend of the entire Libre line is pretty nicely done, in my opinion. But in this one, guys, there is no note that becomes dominant at any specific point. This is truly an exquisitely smooth blend. So compared to the OG, I can tell you that this one is less vanillic, less musky. The florals are a bit more demure. And as far as wear, curiously enough, at the dry down, you are going to pick up that this one is a bit smoother, not necessarily less intense, but smoother. The scent is definitely smooth. Now, if we compare it to the Intense, I can tell you that for me, in the Intense, what I pick up the most is that tonka bean quality, right? So that like vanillic, caramelly kind of quality that the tonka brings to the picture in a fragrance. I get that clearly in the Intense, and I am not picking up on that here. And they have not disclosed that there's the note of tonka bean in here, but it could be here and they just not share it. But I'm just not picking up on it at all. There's that quality just does not exist in this fragrance. I can also tell you that the florals are definitely not as intense. And in the Intense version, I do pick up clearly on a lavender that's a bit intense, but here, while I pick up on the florals, it's just very smoothly blended. So I'm not really picking up on that intensity of the lavender. So now I'm going to compare it to Flowers and Flames, which I just reviewed for you 6 months ago because that's when it was launched. Let me tell you that of all of the flankers that I compared it to, Flowers and Flames is the one where I pick up the most differences. So let's start by talking about the florals because as the name says it, you know, the Flowers and Flames flanker is one that is very much focused on those florals. There is a huge bouquet of florals in this fragrance, and it is quite present and dominant. You do not find that at all in L'eau Nue. Like, you are not going to find that whatsoever. I'm not picking up on that. So for me also in Flowers and Flames, there's a very present and not dominant, but a very present, like aromatic quality to the fragrance that I don't find at all in this fragrance. I also find in Flowers and Flames a touch of, like, in addition to that aromatic quality, there's also like a touch of greenness. And I think that I shared with you when I reviewed the fragrance here on the channel that it's almost like they took the stems of the florals and threw them in there also, because I do pick up on that greenness clearly. I do not get any of that in L'eau Nue. Like, absolutely do not pick up on that at all, which is actually something that I do welcome and I think makes it easier or more wearable during a very, very hot summer day. So that's another difference. And last but not least, guys, Flowers and Flames does have the note of coconut, and I do pick up on it clearly. And at the dry down, it is kind of like a creamy coconut, done very nicely, but that is not present to my nose in this new flanker whatsoever. All right, guys, so now let's go ahead and compare it to Le Parfum. And I can tell you, wow. Okay, so when it comes to Le Parfum, where do I even begin? Because as you guys know, Le Parfum continues to be my favorite of all the flankers. And I am going to tell you which one is my favorite right now. And I will rank it for you in a minute of all of the flankers that I have and the ones that I've tried. But I can tell you that Le Parfum to me was designed to be the sexy flanker within the Libre line. So these two are very, very different. To begin with, the note of saffron and ginger is very much present in the Le Parfum. You do not find that warm spiciness in this one whatsoever, because I'm telling you, the feel of this one is just freshness. In addition to that, I find that Le Parfum is considerably sweeter than this one, because to me, this is like barely sweet, if anything, but Le Parfum is definitely sweet. Is it sickly sweet? No, it isn't, but it is definitely a sweet fragrance. And that's the combination of the note of honey, in my opinion, and like the caramel that you pick up from the tonka bean, which I am telling you, I do not pick up on any of that here. I don't pick up on any caramel nuances, and I certainly do not pick up on the note of honey, which is why I think that this one is so much airier. Now, last but not least, I can tell you that Another thing that is quite the difference between these two, and this may be a game changer or a showstopper for you, is that in Le Parfum, there is a ton of vanilla. To me, this is the flanker that has the most vanilla of all of the Libre flankers. Well, you are not going to find that in this one. This one does have vanilla, but the vanilla is very airy. It's not light, it's not weak, but the vanilla is definitely airy. All in all, these two fragrances, my goodness, they are worlds apart. And I have to tell you that the one flanker that I do not have that I wish I did, because I have a feeling that I may find some similarities, is the Eau de Toilette, which was launched, I can't remember what year, I think it maybe 2023, but I did not pick it up. And that's the only one that I wish that I had that I don't have, because maybe there'll be some similarities, right? Based on the fact that it's an Eau de Toilette. But all in all, guys, this is a fragrance that I think has been very misunderstood. I think that people need to take the time to test it properly as to what YSL says about it, and you know how they recommend that you use it and what to expect, because it is pretty much, in my experience, it has been very consistent to what they say you should find in the fragrance. All in all, guys, I think that this fragrance is giving me exactly what they said that they would deliver in this new flanker, and I think that it is a lovely fragrance. Is it different, really, scent-wise than all the other flankers? It is very, very reminiscent to me, guys, of the Intense, and it does have a lot of similarities with the OG. So if you own those two, do you need this one? No. When would you need this one? I think that if you do not have any of the Libre flankers and you want to give this one a try because you're looking for this scent profile for the spring and summer, then maybe this is a fragrance that you may want to consider. But other than that, if you have any of these flankers, I just really, to be honest with you, I just don't see the need for this one, even though it is quite different and it is kind of covering maybe a gap that existed, but I just don't think it's even a gap, right? Because when it comes to spring and summer, I can pull, you know, Flowers and Flames and use it, not on a very hot summer day, but for the most part I can. So do I think that this is a must and a need? Not really. So I'm going to go ahead and rank for you the 5 Libre fragrances that I have in my collection. Now, last year when I reviewed Flowers and Flames, I did still have my full bottle of the Intense and the OG, but I've given those to my daughter since. And what I did, because I knew that there would be another flanker at some point, is I did pick up a, you know, very tiny, I think they're like 15 ml little tiny bottles. You'll see them, they're really cute. So for me, starting from number 5 to number 1, with 5 being my least favorite and then going up to my most favorite, we're going to go ahead and start with Libre, the Eau de Parfum, which is the OG. And look how cute, guys, this little bottle. And this is what I use this time to be able to do the comparison and tell you what the differences are. Because I'm not going to pick up a full bottle of this one because, again, it's not one of my favorites. So I'm not going to do that. Then the next one, coming in at number 4, would definitely be the Intense. And look how cute again. So the Intense, I also had a full bottle, and I told you guys last year that I was not really much into it. And I know that a lot of you love it. I just really never got much into it. So I just gave it to my daughter. But that would be at number 4 for me. So coming in at number 3, I would definitely say that it's this new one. Because I think that it's going to be a very interesting fragrance to try on skin during those warm spring and summer days. And once I try them, I'll probably circle back with you in another video and let you know if there's any differences or what happened, or if I'm totally super impressed, because sometimes you need to use the fragrance in the season that it was really intended to be used and not when it's like freezing outside. So this one definitely comes in at number 3. Now next, coming in at number 2, I would definitely have to say that it's still Flowers and Flames. I really, really enjoy this fragrance. It is different than the others. It has that coconut and it has those florals, which are quite intense. They're not heady, but they are definitely intense. I really, really do enjoy this flanker. And of course, now you know that Same as last year, my favorite continues to be Le Parfum. Le Parfum is just such an incredible fragrance, guys. It is not just because it's intense, but it's also the vanilla, the way the vanilla has been done. It's a very sexy fragrance. It's very versatile. So it is one that I really, really enjoy. All in all, guys, so that is my ranking. And I must say that I thought that I was going to probably have to deliver a negative review on this one, but no, guys, I think that this fragrance, as long as you go in with the correct expectations, I think that you are going to enjoy it if you enjoy this scent profile. And if you don't have many other flankers in your collection, because if you do, again, I would get myself a sample and see if you really think that it warrants for you to pick up yet another flanker, because it may just not be needed. But all in all, I give this new one an 8 out of 10. Anyway, guys, as always, thank you so much for hanging with me today, and I will see you all in the next video.